Hi, my name is Brie O'Brien, Senior Anchor for the Philadelphia Business Leaders video series, and welcome to this season of PBL. Throughout this semester, we will be bringing you informative, professionally hosted video interviews with prominent executives throughout the Philadelphia region. Our first interview features a conversation with Pete Ciarrocchi Jr., President and CEO of Chickies and Pete's. I'll be right back with that episode. So welcome to the Philadelphia Business Leaders video series. We visited Pete at their corporate headquarters in Bensalem. Pete is a very visible part of the Chickies and Pete's organization, and this interview clearly demonstrates that. The first question we asked him is, how did Chickies and Pete's all begin?
Chickies and Pete's was a bar in Mayfair. It still is. It was acquired by my parents back in 1977. It was called Wally's Cafe. We turned a little tiny small corner bar into a powerhouse branded restaurant in Philadelphia and the area. It was purely organic. It wasn't something we set out to do. We just took an existing business and started to add a little bit of flavor to it, add a little bit of friendly, made it a little more friendly, made it more of a place where people wanted to go. And what we did was, when we first took it over, we put bar stools in. There was no bar stools in this restaurant. It was a stand-up bar which had a woman's entrance in the back. So here's the hill we were up against. You had a place that allowed no women. No one was allowed to sit down. And we were going to turn this into what it is today. So it was a real journey. And like I said, it grew organically. My parents bought it and thought that it would be something good for me to do. They really never worked in the business. My father did the business end of it, but never any cooking. I had a little experience in cooking. My high school, I took a double period every day of cooking. So I learned French cooking, and that's how I became a little bit of a chef, not knowing that I could grow what I thought was fun for me to eat would be fun for a lot of people to eat. Opened the place with a little bit of fanfare, a little bit of success. And as time went on, I started to accumulate more and more customers. My parents named the place, we called it Chickies and Pete's. I know that it's not proper English, Chickies and Pete's, but the problem was my father said, let's order this sign from Frank, a friend of his, and when the sign got delivered, it said Chickies and Pete's. And the guy was from Italy. And my father said, Frank, that's not right, Chickies and Pete's. He said, Pete, the place is your place, right? Pete's, and your wife, a Chickie. Chickie. So it's a Chickie's a place and it's a pizza place. So call it Chickies and Pete's. My father said, you can't do that. It can't have two plurals. So my father said, listen, I don't want the sign. And the guy said, Pete, I have money wrapped up in the sign. My father said, look, it's $1,500 for the sign, correct? And he said, yes. He said, can you do it for $500? At $500, you can leave the sign here, and I'll keep the sign and make it Chickies and Pete's. And I go, Pete, I got the more money in it than $500. So my father said, what's the best you can do? He said, $750. So for $750 to this day, I've corrected at least once a week by someone who says, whether it's by email or by phone call or by face-to-face, that's not proper to have Chickies plural and Pete's plural. You're right, but the rest is history. It worked out. So that's how it started, Chickie and Pete's. That's why it's called Chickies and Pete's. And how the crabs became what they are today is we always had crabs. The owners before us had crabs, but they only sold them a few months a year. And I was able to expand that menu and make things in there because I ran it myself and introduced different flavors to people where they would come from miles around to come to Chickie and Pete's, to where it became, in that one little corner bar, a 3-hour wait every day of the week. Maybe it would be 2 hours during the week, Monday through Thursday. Friday, Saturday was 3 hours. Sunday's probably 3 hours. And after 4 or 5 years of that craziness, of that trying to fit a pound and a half into a pound package every day, we went to the second floor. Never got under 3 hours again. Then we opened our second location. So before we opened our second location, we were open for almost 20 years with one location. And then we expanded. And then today we have 62 locations in amusement parks, boardwalks, and so on, and arenas, football stadiums, basketball, so on, across the country. And we have 15 standalones restaurants, so a total of like 77 restaurants.
We then asked him what his greatest motivation was with coming up with new ideas and products for his company.
I create products that I like. So I don't believe I'm much different than most people. I know what I like to eat, and if you could come up with something that you like to eat, the odds are somebody else is going to enjoy it. You know, you could put peanut butter and mayonnaise and banana on a sandwich. I don't know. Some people might really like that. I've never put that together, but you could try. So the thing is, if you come up with something that you like, if you could have a restaurant where you could try it. Now today it's different, but I was able to let people try it. And they would say, oh, I like this, or I didn't like this, or maybe you should skip that. So you were able to be one-on-one with a customer years ago and say, what do you think of this? So it was like test marketing. Today, when you open a restaurant, you better be ready to go. Your products better be in place, you better be great, or you better be prepared to fail. The best part of my job is being able to give back. You know, it's all well coming one way, but it's better when you have people that work for you, that or work with you, that are able to lift them up. I had a high school friend who I hire a lot of people from school, people that I know, and most businesses do. And she said to me at the age of 53, she said, you know what, Pete? Thanks to you, I was finally able to buy my first home. This girl had been a waitress for many years, and she was able to buy her first home because of Chicky and Pete's. And you know, that's something that I don't forget. But there's many stories like that. There's many people that got married through my restaurant. People that met customers and got married. You know, guys who in the kitchen that met servers and they got married. So there's a family and an offspring that came from Chicky and Pete's. I have 1,700 employees. And I'm very fortunate to have every single one of them. And I'm very fortunate to be able to work in my stores. And that's the other part. If you're able to work in the store, you're able to hear their stories. And gratification is a form of payment. So if you're able to be in your store and somebody says to you, this is delicious, these crab fries are out of this world, that's like putting money in your pocket. People drive Mercedes and they drive Chevys. And the difference between the Mercedes and the Chevy, in my opinion, is because they both have to go 55 miles an hour. They both stop at stop signs. They both have radios. They both have four wheels, and so on. Is when you're driving that Mercedes, and I don't know, it makes you feel better. It's a form of gratification. In my business, or in the restaurant business, the gratification is instantaneous as long as you go to work. So that's one of the things that I love about my business. The key to success is to try to be the best at whatever you do. If you own the trash removal company, you should be the best trash removal company. Now my food, crab fries, I invented my own brand, my own idea of a potato. It's being seasoned and sold. So when I invented it, first of all, I didn't have any competition because nobody else did it. Right. So I'm the best because nobody else did it. Then you register trademark and you lock it in and you get your patent, and then there's nobody can do it. But so you want to be the best at what you do. Never take the vision away, and always be number one at what you do. And that goes as an entertainer, or no matter what your business would be as an entrepreneur, whether you're your business or the business is a business, you should be number one at what you do.
Every successful CEO faces challenges. We asked Pete how he deals with these challenges on a day-to-day basis when overseeing such a large organization.
The challenges today are, and they have changed over the years, and like I've been in business since 1977, so do the math, it's been a long time. The challenges today are work ethic, honesty, dependability. You know, there's a lot of people out there looking for work, and there's a lot of jobs out there. There's a lot of jobs. So today, it's like a restaurant revolution. There's so many restaurants out there. Every little mom and pop bar became a restaurant. So if you're not going to hire the person, or if you can't give them the right days that they want, or if you tell them they have to work on a Saturday, they don't want it. In some cases, and if they don't want to work, if you tell them you have to work that Saturday, you couldn't get anybody to cover you, they couldn't go to the next place, because the next place will take them. So you almost run a training facility for other restaurants, like Chicky and Pete's. We have 1,700 employees, so there's always going to be some kind of turnover. And unfortunately, that's the challenge you have today, that no loyalty to where they work. Years ago, I have employees with me 20 years, 25 years, 14 years, 17 years. I have whole families that work for me. Mother, father, all their children. They're far and few though now. You know, there's not families coming on board today that'll do that. So unfortunately, that's very challenging. The workforce out there today, trying to get the right mix to work for you, that want to work and want to stay part of your brand.
Throughout the series, we've asked every executive, what are their plans for succession? What are they going to do when they eventually step down from their position? Here's Pete's response to that question.
At this point, we just started to make an attempt looking at that. I do have a board of directors, and at the board of directors that we meet every quarterly, and we talk about succession. And now I've made some moves. As a one-man operation, one-man band for years, I now have a chief operating officer and head of operations and vice presidents and different job titles, which I didn't have before. So right now, I have a staff internally, administratively, that I could walk away from this business today, and I know I'm in great hands. Loyal, ethical, good business people, running my place, in some cases, smarter than me. I would say in more than one case, in more than 10 cases, they're smarter than me. So that's important. I have people around me now that are better than Pete. You know, maybe they don't have the imagination, or maybe they're not allowed to show their imagination. I don't know. But I have a good imagination because I'm not very educated. And I only have a high school diploma. Lucky to have that. And I have hired very good people around me from Ivy League, Holy Family University, Temple. And I must tell you, it's the person that you hire, not the university, that makes the job, the place successful. I will tell you, I have had great bloodlines that came in that weren't that good, and I've had guys from Holy Family University, who is my chief operating officer, who, board of directors, Blank Rome, a lot of the attorneys in Blank Rome are on my board, will tell you one of the sharpest men they ever met. So that's the succession, and I think that's where we're going.
Marketing and branding are very essential to every organization. We asked Pete what marketing and branding techniques he feels works best for him.
I believe in brand dominance. So in the city of Philadelphia, we dominate. We don't need to tell you what Chicky and Pete's does anymore. I like to brand my own. I like to go and get myself on TV, get myself on radio, call in stations, say who I am, sneak my name in. If there's something in the city of Philadelphia going on, I would get my product there. It would cost me money, just give it out, but I would get it there. And again, that's part of the workload. It's a heavy workload if you want to be a great entrepreneur. I invented crab fries. When I invented them, I sold them at Penn's Landing. It was the first place I sold them besides Chicky and Pete's. And people would come up to me and say, "What's a crab fry?" And I would, because they would eat them and say, "There's no crab in here." Well, I said, "Of course not. They're only $2.50. You expect crab for $2.50?" My point was that I had to explain to people over and over again what a crab fry is. At that point is when I patented them, because I said, I'm not going to spend years doing this and then somebody come and steal it. So branding is very important to get your name out there, whether it costs you money. Advertising, you should have a budget. I didn't advertise until about 20 years into it. So I was able to get my name out there in all these places. Listen, it was Chicky and Pete's, Pete, me, and Crab Fries. Get all those names out together. So if you have to become a character of your restaurant, almost like a living mascot, then you have to become that. Because whatever works. So if people like you, and you like your product, they will say, come on my show, can I get you to talk? Can I get you an interview for the newspaper? Can I do something? Hey, listen, I'm doing this for colleges right now. And I will tell you this is part of my brand. And hopefully every student that sees this will come into a Chicky and Pete's.
Finally, we asked Pete about the future. Listen to the enthusiasm as this dynamic CEO responds to our last question in our interview with him.
Chicky and Pete's is always opening and evolving into new places, and I think we're gonna get a few more states under our belt. People always talk about franchising. I don't know if that's my thing. I think I would lose control, and that would probably make me lose my mind. I'm a perfectionist, like I said earlier in this discussion. I want to be the best. You know, the best at what I do. And as far as the city is concerned, and as far as the United States, and ESPN said Chicky and Pete's is the #1 sports bar in America. Well, that's the best of me. I'm in a sports bar, and they're in the sports business, so if they say it, it's great. #1 product is Crab Fries in every stadium that we're in every arena, and every amusement park. So what we'll do is we'll continue to do that, and maybe have some more express Chicky and Pete's, where grab and goes, and maybe a few more airports, because wherever we go, we've been successful in every single thing we've ever done. And not only been successful, but fortunate enough to say we're #1. The only thing that it didn't work is we went into a supermarket. And we thought that would work. They came to us. I will say this, every location we're in, they came to us. We don't try and get locations. Locations come to us, we're very, very fortunate. So we're 99.9%.
And the last question is, what advice would you give to aspiring young business students who wish to go into a business like yours, or any type of entrepreneurship type of situation?
I will say, if you want to go into business today, become an entrepreneur, be prepared to work, be prepared to be unique, be prepared to brand your products. Stay with it, don't lose sight. Hire the best people you can, but remember, the #1 employee will be you. Don't start making money and spending it. Just live the way you did before you opened your first place. Then when you open your second place, then you can spend the money from your first place. So don't move too fast and don't move too slow, but find your sweet spot, and remember, you are the #1 employee. You are the #1 person who will tell you what's right and what's wrong. You got to use your ethics and your determination and your fortitude to stay strong and keep that business the way you want it to be. Don't ever waver either way.
Thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you join us throughout the semester. Each week we will feature a new executive. With the Philadelphia Business Leaders video series, I'm Bri O'Brien. We'll see you next time.